Welcome back, everybody. That was an exciting half hour. If you missed that, we'll podcast that in its entirety with our conversation with Tim Polasek that had to lead off the show. A lot of informative stuff there. We appreciate him coming by. As we roll on a Thursday show, Bison basketball, as we mentioned, right out. Both teams playing tonight. The men playing later in California against Bakersfield for an 8:30 tip. The women are in action as well tonight as they take on Eastern Illinois. Get ready for shoot-around. We got Jory Collins a little earlier than normal as the Bison will hit the floor with a mark of 7-2, ranked now 23rd in the mid-major poll. I know you don't care one whit about that, but you got a nice win Saturday, and the road continues here. First, congrats on this, and just now knowing, all right, we got one tonight. What do you make of who you're facing tonight in Eastern Illinois?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I think you look at Eastern's record, it doesn't look great. I think if you dig a little deeper, they've played a really tough schedule, and they've been in a lot of single-digit games late, and they've been on the road a bunch too. So they get to be back home. They have they had a post player out that's had them play this other kid who's 6'10".
Oof.
Okay, she's a monster, and just that presents a whole different set of issues. She played 30 minutes the other day when they played at Illinois State and played them really great. And then they have two dynamic guards at the 1 and 2 spot that are really igniters offensively, really good mid-range players. So they definitely have some pieces. Marcus does a great job. Like, we need to be tuned up to play tonight for sure.
Is this the tallest player you ever faced?
It is.
Yeah.
It is. Probably not and it's not like she's super skinny. I mean, she's just a tall kid. And it looks like she's improving every time out. The tallest, not the biggest, not the most massive, but without question the most length probably.
Man, that's going to be something to watch tonight. Let's go back to the game on Saturday. We were joking, looked like family and friends that maybe not even friends that were at the game. Just the challenge of that, it's an early tip and knowing that there's no atmosphere. What does that challenge present for the team that you had on Saturday?
Well, I mean, not only that, we played a pretty high intensity game on Wednesday night, and you sometimes you spend all your emotion and your reserve tanks in those kind of games where you had to be on a max 10 alert for the full 40 minutes. And then we were pretty light on Thursday, but then we practiced at 7 a.m. on Friday, and then you travel to Ogden, Utah. That's flight to Minneapolis, to Salt Lake City, and get on a bus. I think we got to our hotel room at 9:30 on
Yikes.
Friday night, and then you turn around, no shoot around, and you play a noon game. I mean, that's where I think our team has made a jump in the past. I think we had a lot of players on our team. We were talking after, like, I don't know if we win that game, last year, the year before. So we were not great. We came out, I thought we played a much better second half and kind of got our legs under us. There's some altitude there as well. I mean, there's a lot of factors that I think in the past maybe would have folded us a little bit, and I was really proud of our team for battling that out. Like you said, environment. I mean, it was quiet in there. You could hear every single thing. Officiating was a circus. There's a lot of factors there, and for us to be able to stay locked in, make the plays we needed to get out with the road win, I thought was really good for us.
Is that good or bad that you could hear everything?
It's not good. Not when I'm in there. It's not good. And, especially when people got their antennas up anyways, it makes for it's just a different environment to play in.
I got to ask about what Marissa Frost has done. I think we talked post-game after the Montana State win about what she's done here. 5 of the last 6 games, double figures, now averaging 12. Was there a conversation you guys had after the start of the season on, hey, it's time to get going?
Yeah, a little bit. I watch film with Riz after every game individually. It's just something we started doing last year when she was a young point guard coming in, and it's about 10 to 15 minutes of 8, 9, 10 clips of things, just trying to keep her growing and figuring things out. And our whole team, Dom, got off to a kind of a slower start. I think I said it the other day. We were 25 for 103 from the 3-point line in our first 5 games. And then I think we're 32 for 64 in our last 4 games. So shooting almost 50%. we're probably somewhere in between that,
Um,
where we're going to be consistently. But for whatever reason, she was maybe like 1 for 11 from three and hadn't taken some shots. And we sat down, watched some film, and I think her mindset of whether I have the ball or don't have the ball is something she was still figuring out. And I think she knows now she can be aggressive, just running the floor, and maybe she gets the ball maybe a little farther down and can still do all the same things she was doing last year.
Her drive to the basket, just is that something you saw even on tape or watching her in high school? Or is that developed as she got here to Fargo?
I mean, I think she's got better in some areas, but that's something she's just had. I mean, that was her go-to. I mean, her ability to go coast to coast. She's deceptively fast. I think when most people look at her, they don't see that, and then all of a sudden she's by you. And her touch, when she gets downhill and the way she can flip it high and off the glass and still be really accurate with where she's bumping it is really, really good. I wish I could take some credit for that, but that's all her right there.
4 players average in double figures. That's not a one-person team, obviously. How difficult is that then as a defense try and stop when you've got that many different weapons right now?
Yeah, I mean, I hope that makes it tough to pinpoint. I mean, I think everybody's going to have a focus on Avery just because she's going to be so close to the basket and shooting such a high percentage. But hopefully, Dom, that's the goal. Is if you're going to try to take her away and make a great effort, can we beat you in other ways? And I think we have the players to win in multiple ways and being versatile offensively. If we need to win on the perimeter, if we need to win in the lane, obviously in every game you'd like some combination of both, but there's going to be teams that sell out one way or the other. And you just have to be, good enough and versatile enough in your packages to exploit the other way. And I like our team. I like our players, especially now that we're shooting the ball quite a bit better. AK is shooting the ball better. Molly's been shooting the ball great. Marissa's shooting the ball great. AG's made a 3 in the last 4 games coming off the bench. Amelia made one the other day. I mean, when we can do that, then I think that really opens some things up.
How confident is your team right now?
I think they're confident. I think you got to be. I think I would tell you, even in the games we didn't win, the Gonzaga game and the Nebraska game, I think there was things we could watch on film and take out of there where we were like, oh, geez, if we just would have done this or this. Hey, we're right in there. It's not like we just straight got our butts kicked and there's a whole bunch of issues. It was some small things in those games where, you can take from those and feel pretty good about it. And then obviously we've been able to get the win in the other games we've played. So I hope they're feeling good. That's a big part of women's basketball is how you're feeling. You got to feel good to play good. I've said that forever. And I think our team feels pretty good.
All right, I mentioned it. I'm going to have to ask because I have to. You're in the mid-major poll. You're ranked. Is that a deal? Is that something that the team knows, or you don't even pay any attention to it?
I mean, I'm sure they see it because our social media puts it out. We haven't talked about it. I won't talk about it.
Yeah.
Now, we've talked about, we sat down on Monday and looked at our net ranking.
Yes, I will ask about that. Yep.
We looked at where we're at in. There's some other, Her Hoop Stats is a site we go to. Bart Torvik is a site that does a lot of analytics. And most of that's not like a ranking where we're at. It's how efficient are we offensively, defensively, rebounding, where you just do a little self-evaluation on some areas where we need to improve in. But it has a team rankings in there also. And so those are things, the poll is a opinion by people that may have never seen you play, so those are kind of what they are.
The net ranking, you're at 50, though, this morning. You got to be pleased with that. That's as high as I can remember for the Bison women's basketball program.
Yeah, no, that's great. I think you're anywhere in. We talked down. I mean, obviously the goal is to win Summit League championship and play in the NCAA tournament. That's plan A. Plan B, your non-conference games and how you play and how efficient you are is all factored into the net, and you want to be as high as you can. If you don't do plan A, what's plan B? And we would sure like to be in the WBIT, the NCAA sponsored tournament. I think that's a 32-teamer.
Yep.
I think that's the next step for our program if we're not going to win, that conference tournament. But obviously that's our goal. Number one is to just continue to grow and be in that position.
I ask you just mentioned this. How deep do you go on analytics? Is that something you dive into a whole lot or not so much?
I enjoy it. Now I don't know how much that factors in a ton to strategy and how much we're doing at practice and those kind of things. But I like to know, where we are in offensive rebounding rate, defensive rebounding rate, our effective field goal percentage. And it's all, when you have other people doing it on who you've played and where you've played and then who they've played, that puts much more accurate than us just looking at our effective field goal percentage, period. So it's a little bit of a help there, and they have a lot of stuff individually too. So we can look at our players and say, hey, this is where you've been most effective. Try to get to this as many times as possible in the game, and then this is where you're not as effective. We'll try not to put you in those positions, and you try to keep yourself out of those positions, and you just try to be as effective as you can.
I was wondering how far you're a baseball guy, and that's all that baseball is now is analytics. So I was curious how far down the rabbit hole you went on that.
Yep. So that's what I spend my Sunday mornings just scrolling through, Dom, and all of a sudden 2 hours have gone by, and I'm like, all right, I need to shut the computer off and go do something else. But it's interesting for sure.
Tip of the hat, by the way, before I let you go, of scheduling from Ogden, Utah, Charleston, Illinois to Malibu, California. How'd that go? How'd that work out?
Well, again, those aren't intentional. Those are playing, obviously we had a return game to Eastern.
Yep.
They came to our place last year, so those are where those fit in. You don't know. I didn't know we were playing Weber or going to Ogden on the Saturday. That was a hard part about the Big Sky Challenge.
Yes.
It came out so late. You didn't know if you were on the road the second game or the first game. And then that always factored in, well, what are you doing after that weekend? You don't want to be – I'm glad this wasn't like a Tuesday game, where we had to be on the road in Ogden on Saturday and turn around and get here on a Tuesday.
Yeah.
But it's never going to be perfect. The Malibu was intentional. Try to get to California. I think it's 75 degrees here.
Oh man!
Got to take care of business today and hopefully get out there and get a little refresher.
A little rough to spend Christmas or pre-Christmas out in Malibu, California. That's going to be real tough for you out there.
Yeah.
Good luck tonight, bud. Thanks so much for doing this, especially on a game day. Appreciate it. Travel safe, and we'll talk next week. Okay.
Okay, thank you, Dom.
Jory Collins joining us, NDSU women's basketball coach. Every Thursday he joins us. Bison in Eastern Illinois coming up tonight. That's a 6 o'clock tip. That game is available on ESPN Plus tonight. Again, they're 7-2. They're ranked 23rd in the mid-major poll. I know he was going to say nothing about it, but they're 50 in the net ranking. They got these two games coming. They got Pepperdine and UTRGV. That's University of Texas, Rio Grande Valley. They'll play before Christmas. There's a real possibility they can win all these games. And then they come back after Christmas at 10-2 before they head out to play Summit League basketball. Telling you, I mean, it's worth your attention. I'm just like I'm shouting in the clouds, but they're awfully good with maybe the player of the year. I know people that watch our program in Brookings are going to freak out on me. The Brooklyn Meyer is still there, and Maddie Mathowitz is still there for South Dakota State. Look at what Avery Coonan's stats are right now. You have a hard time saying she's not at least in contention. And Carrington Asp is in contention for the freshman of the year in the Summit League. That's what they got going right now for the Bison women's basketball team. All right, let's break. We come back. We'll wrap up our first hour. Big second hour coming up as well. Rolling on a Thursday morning edition of Hot Mike. We're back after this.